Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Mindful Monk, and a special welcome to new people who've joined us. As I say, we search this one wild, short life for what gives us meaning, gives us heightened sense of living. That's what we're after. I was talking to a friend of mine recently, just last week, in fact, and he's a wealthy man, very successful, retired, it wants for nothing. And he would normally take off, have a routine in his year, holidays 3 or 4 times a year in the sunshine. And I asked him how he was doing. And he's a numbers man. And he said, I give myself 6 out of 10, 6 out of 10. And that really resonated with me in a lot of ways. I'd say I'd give myself 6 out of 10. I've had a difficult few months since Easter, and depression has stalked me during that time. And I think that's because I had more work to do, more things that I needed to access in my soul, looking for light. And I'm working at that. So, as I say, it is a difficult time. We are vulnerable, we are fragile, and I think the truth is that the pandemic has really revealed that to us, and all our attempts to control things, to manage our world, to control nature, have been revealed to be, based on sand, that they're not, the seed fell on rocky ground, that what we built our lives on hadn't got solidity. I think part of that really is that God had been excluded. That we had become gods, and that really religion and God had become a sort of an add-on, rather than the center, really the driving force for my life, as well as for just because I'm in a privileged place of worship and prayer and community, which is very lucky, but it doesn't mean you're not susceptible to all the various illusions and idols that can creep into our lives. So for me, one of the things I've consistently done throughout the 50 years I've been in the monastery is, when times are difficult and times are dark, and there are those times for us all, no one is immune from that. The best I've been able to muster on occasions is to say yes. Yes, Lord, I will go on. Yes, yes. I always think of Ulysses ends with those yeses. Yes to life. Yes, despite everything, I cling to that yes. And it's interesting to me that the Hebrew word for yes is amen. Amen. And we say it very often, those of us who are in church, certainly at the end of prayers, we say amen. We tend to say amen. We gloss over it, but it's really a solid conviction, saying yes to that prayer, saying yes to that hymn. We say it, I don't know how many times a day, and just it slips out. And we forget that we're actually confirming, solidifying what we're saying amen to that prayer, amen to God. So I leave you with that thought that saying yes to life may be as much as we can manage some days, but I think that's good enough. That's a prayer. So, my friends, I began this Mindful Monk series at the beginning of lockdown, as I really wanted to make some contribution to the world, to people, during this very trying and challenging, difficult time, which I think we've all found the cupboards a bit empty and have been called on really to recalibrate our lives, and that's uncomfortable, and we need guidance, and that's where I think the role of the Spirit is so crucial, and our connection with God, which again is at times hard to sustain and to keep track with. And it's, let me tell you, it's no easier in the monastery than anywhere else, even though, as I said before, we're privileged. So I'm going to stop the Mindful Monk for the summer and take time to rest and, as I say, recalibrate myself. And I'll consider what I should do and seek out the nudges of the Spirit to guide me into what my next moves should be. In the meantime, I hope you get time to rest and to play a little this summer when you are resting, and if we can file that childlike element in us, I think it's a real joy we can experience in that time of rest and relaxation. If you can find that space for yourself, I think it would be richly rewarded. So for now, keep safe, keep well, and we'll see what happens in the autumn. God bless, and may God keep you safe and well. Amen.